Hi everybody, this is Lori from Acclaim Crafts, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do these. These are the netted earrings pattern from Nirvana Beads is where I found the very nice tutorial that they have on there. They have a pictorial tutorial that you can follow that's very easy. The pattern is by Amy Hafkowitz of Trixie's Jewel Box. She came up with this. And you can do this in lots of different colors and this kind of thing, but today we're going to be focusing on this colorway, and that's the beads that I've got out. And you can see I've got you have a lot of choices when you come to make one of these pieces. This is it's an earring pattern, but I really like it as a pendant. And I have done this as a pendant. As you can see, this is one of my favorite ones that I've made. Used a lot of really bright and happy colors in there, and I also used some copper beads on the corners, and then some very, very sparkly, slightly larger beads there in the middle. These are the 4mm beads, and they are very, very sparkly. They're like disco balls. And I used some tangerine beads around those orange beads to do the netting, so that red bead in the center really pops out. But you can use lots of different colors with this to make this. It's a really fun piece. I'd like to try it with pearls. I think that would be a really neat piece. It reminds me of the Museum of Jewelry, which I used to get their catalogs, and I love their stuff. And anyway, the boards that I'm using today, this one here on the left is the Seed Beater's Dream Board, and I've got my beads laid out for that. It's got a larger working area, and so I'm going to be working on it. But I'm also showing you this one. This is the Porta Cedar board, and this is a smaller seed beating board with a lot of similar features, and you can buy this just the board itself as you see it, or we have a system where you can take this with you and take your beading and you'd have to put your fire line down in the pockets and maybe figure out which beads you were going to take. That you can cover it all up and slide it into the case and take it with you. And if you've got something in progress on your working area, you're not going to lose it. So anyway, this is the Porta Cedar board, 40,010, and this is the Seed Beater's Dream board, which is 40,006. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to bring my camera down so that you can see what I'm doing, because I'm going to actually make one of these, and you hopefully will be able to follow along with me. So bear with me while I move my camera. Okay, we're back over here. And the first thing we want to do is pick up our 4 6mm beads. I'm using magnesite beads. And I'll slide this down to where I have maybe a couple inches of tail sticking out. And then sew back up through these. And I will lay my needle down, and I'm going to encourage these to go into a knot, and then tie the ends together so it's secured. I find fireline to be slippery, so you want to tie a good solid knot. Okay. And then take your end, just with your fingers, and just thread it through a hole. Gonna give it a little bit of a pull, try to get the knot to slip through into the, so it's hidden inside that bead. I'm going to cut the tail off and lay that aside because we don't need that now. And then I'm just going to run my thread through the same hole that I had that needle come out of. All right, now I'm going to pick up my 3 of my 4mm beads. I have a hard time finding the hole in this last one. There it is. Okay. Now you see those are coming out there of the left-hand side. I'm going to go through that same bead and kind of encourage those 3 beads to sit on top. I'm going to turn those over because I'm right-handed. Then I'm going to sew back up through the first and then the second bead. So my thread is coming out of the top of the middle bead. I'm turning my work over again. And I'm going to grab my 3mm, my little bicones. Let those slide down the thread there if I can get it to go down. All right, and I'm turning this over again so that the thread is now coming out of the left-hand side of that topmost bead. And then I'm going to bring my needle and sew back through the other side of that bead. All right, and I'm going to turn it over again. Do the same thing. I'm going to sew through the bicones, the 3mm bicones, and I'm going to come out with my thread in the center, turning it over again. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick up 3, 4 of my size 11 seed beads. Okay. And I want to sew back through that center bead. I had turned my work over again. I'm going to turn it back, and my thread is coming out of that center bicone. I'm going to come back and grab a 5th size 11 seed bead, and I'm going to sew down through that closest bicone. All right, now I picked up 1 size 8 seed bead. I'm going to show you on this one. It's this one. That bead right there, and I'm going to be adding it, and I'll be sewing into that 4mm bead right there. Okay. So there's that. Let's pop that into place. And now I pick up 2 of my size 8 beads and go down through the 6mm bead. And another 8. Then I'll be adding another 8 right here. And you notice I've got my earring upside down now. This is the kind of the direction that we're sewing. I'm going to grab 2 more of these and then back up through the center of that burgundy bead. And my last now, size 8, and I will sew up into the 3mm. And then before I go into the rest of those size 11 beads, I'm going to pick up the last. I'm going to pick up another size 11 copper colored bead. So now I have a total of 6 copper colored beads there at the top. So I'm going to sew back through all of those beads, and I'm going to work my way back down to this spot right here where we'll be adding the netting. So there we go. And that's where I want to come. I don't want to go through that size 8 bead on the corner. I just want to come out of the magnesite bead right there. So I'm just going to pull my needle out. All right. Now we're going to be adding the beginning of the netting. So my thread is emerging right here, and I'm going to load 2 seed beads, that last 4mm, and then 2 more seed beads, and then I'm going to insert my needle right into this bead here, and that's going to be the first leg of that netting. So let me grab those beads onto my needle. I have to pick this one up, I think. There we go. It's hard for me to see the holes on these dark beads. I have to find them with the little light reflection. Okay. So now I'll hold this up so hopefully you can see it. I've got 4 size 11 seed beads and a 4mm bead on my needle, or on my thread now, past the needle. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go right through this bead here. See, our thread's coming out right there. Okay. Get a hold of it. And there we go. There's the first part of the netting. Now I pick up 2 seed beads, and I'll be going up with my needle through the bottom of this 4mm crystal, straight up, just like so. And then the last 2 seed beads, I'm going to go straight down. There we go. Now I'll just stitch my way back around. I want to go through the perimeter, all the beads on the perimeter, and you may notice that your piece is feeling kind of loose, but as you stitch your way back around, it really will firm up. You want to, I would recommend stitching through at least 3 times. I don't know if you could do 4 with fire line and this size beading needle, and the size 11s. I don't know if 4 will go through, but 3 certainly will. And I would recommend making small knots inside your pattern as you go through, so that your thread is very secure and doesn't slip out as you're wearing your creation. You want to pay close attention to your area where your hanger is, which is here at the top, which is where I'm going through now. You want to make sure that that is reinforced. And now you can open up your, if you're using this as a pair of earrings, you can open up the ring on the earrings and just put your ring right here, or you can add a jump ring, as I've done to this one. I've added an oval jump ring to this, and I love these oval rings. The split doesn't sit at the bottom and your piece doesn't come off. You can place the split strategically on there so that it looks nice and smooth and solid on the front, and you don't have to worry about losing your piece. So that's really nice. Or you could just cast on to a soldered closed jump ring and then maybe add another ring as you need it to turn your piece the correct way. But this is basically done. I just need to back stitch around it and then do some more knots on the inside as I go through. But it's a pretty quick and easy pattern, particularly if you see better than I do, which I'm sure most of you do. I hope you have gotten something out of this, and that you've enjoyed this. I do hope you'll try this. It's a very fun pattern. I'd love to. I love this one. I've made it many times, and hopefully you'll enjoy doing this too, and it'll become a favorite of yours as well. If you've enjoyed this, please like, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave those below, and I'll try to answer those as quickly as I can. If you have, if you would like to be notified of any future videos that we're going to do, you could always subscribe and hit that little bell on there. And thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you've enjoyed this. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys. Bye.